Hello all, thank you for joining us. My name is Rachel Powers and I'll be narrating our project. Today we are presenting Little Red Adventure, our version of an adventure book. For the user experience, our adventure book is a user-driven, second-person point of view storytelling experience. It allows the users to become the protagonist in an interactive way with 13 unique endings, 12 unique plot forks. That meaning you have different options that you can take, and those options are going to be the 24 unique plotline choices. Due to some adult phrasing used, I would say that our presentation and product would be PG-13. To start off our project, we had to create a plot line. Here you can see that we had one theme to kick off our adventure book, and then after that, it forks off to either one option or another, which continues to fork down until you come to our yellow boxes indicated that that is the end of that plot line. So you can see just the many different directions and unique turns. Every ending is unique in itself. So this is kind of how we started off with our layout. Going to here, this is our UML. This shows all the different transitions and animations through each slide. So our the beginning of our user experience adventure book starts off with a book cover that will spin 360 degrees. So we have that little code right there. And then each page going forward, book page, has an animation where we use keyframes and animation properties. This I'll show you in a later slide is our animation of Little Red Riding Hood going across the book page as our book progresses. One of the main features that we have for the book cover transition I mentioned earlier is a double-click design link. So we had the idea of animating the book cover, but the book cover is actually a clickable link to our storybook. So to be able to see the transition happening, we had to fool the system into doing CSS only double click. So the section of code that I have right here in front of you is our CSS file cover sheet. It's in our CSS file cover sheet and creates a double clickable link. With the use of span and the Z index, we are able to stack the hover selector over the active selector. So you'll see that the Z index 2 has a higher priority than the click and just span. So we are able to, using this bit of code, it kind of creates a buffer so that 2 clicks are required to activate the link. 1 click will move will rotate the book cover, and 2 clicks will actually bring you to page 1 of our storybook. Here you can see with 1 click, we do have the design rotating book cover. It will actually spin the opposite way, and upon clicking it one more time, you would be able to see the front, the first page. So with the rotating book cover here, I have for you also the CSS code that was written for that. The use of transitions, we were able to rotate our book 360 degrees. You can also see there are a few different properties for the transition, duration property, and this is used to make sure that our transition function that we have will actually work on different browsers. So you can see respectively for the WebKit, it would go for Chrome and Safari, and so forth with Firefox, Opera, Internet Explorer respectively. This does work alongside, so we need this bit of code, and this also works going back to the previous slide with the double click link. So these two together actually make the front cover animation work together very nicely. And then, as I mentioned before, the Little Red walking animation, this part of code right here, we are using animation properties and keyframe. With the use of the animation properties and keyframe, movement is added to each page as little red is guiding the users along the path. So you have animation every single slide, or not slide, every single page of our adventure book. And with the use of different percentages, we can manipulate where the path of little red. So in the next slide, I'll show you how the manipulation of percentages in the keyframe will actually give the illusion that she is skirting along on the path of the book page. So here you can see little red moving, and she kind of disappears into the book. It is a fun addition to our book as the user, has that feeling, immersive feeling of, being that almost omnipresent second person guiding along the character. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get a little view of the adventure book ourselves. All right. So here we go. And we're going to do the one click. And as you'll see from the slide before, it is giving the movement. Click it again, and here we are. So there again, you'll see little red. She starts off in the beginning, but the slide before shows her starting in the midway. So we have our book. We have an illustration on every left page, and we have the plot line starting with Little Red Riding Hood setting out to visit her grandmother. So you'll see that we have two options. We can pick Little Red to go take the mountain road, or we can go by boat down the river. So you pick one, and you are automatically transformed, and you're now looking at a new page, a whole new background. You've designed our storybook to have a different background matching the scenery of what's going on in the book. So again, we are forked with another option. No, we're going to go inside, or we're going to continue on the path. And so this will lead you along, and you'll be able to see many different plot lines in front of you. And the fun part is, with our links, you can tell which one you have clicked and which one you haven't. So if you go through the rest of the book, you'll eventually go to a page like this, where you'll have the option to start over completely, or you can go back one page. So if you wanted to see the direct next plot line or the next fork, an option where that would lead you, you are able to do so. And then at a certain point, you can only go back one page, so you'll have to start over. Like I said before, there are many unique endings, forks. So you definitely spend some time having fun and experiencing a different story each time you use our storybook. So we'll exit out of this and we'll go to our next slide. So our team member roles, and I, as the team project leader, I asked everyone who was a part of our team to kind of write down and summarize what they did as a part of our team. Rachel Powers, myself, was the project leader and designer. I would say the description of my role was to coordinate the design team. I am also the author of the plot line, and I did some animation and wrote some HTML and CSS. The importance for my role as project manager of the adventure book was to allow each member of the team to focus on individual tasks that collectively produce a cohesive and fun game. While managing, I created the forking plot line of the Little Red Adventure, finding inspiration from classic fairy tale stories. Along with the team, I had a hand in creating the storybook page layout through HTML and CSS design. The creation of the page layout template allowed for an easier construction of the 25-page storybook. So yes, we did start out with a template page that we tweaked around with beforehand, before committing to coding and entering in the different choices and text for each 25-page HTML that we uploaded. I also designed, as I said before, the animated transition of the book cover. So I coded the spinning book cover with the double click. Next, we have Juana. Her description of her role would be animator and CSS designer. And in her words of importance, our animation and CSS implementation is the center of the Little Red Adventure game. When a user first clicks on a story page, they see Little Red Riding Hood walking through the bottom of the book pages. This was executed with the inclusion of animation name, animation duration, animation delay, and keyframes. Animation name is the name of the animation which holds all details in keyframes. Keyframes tells the animation what to do and at what time to do it. Animation duration is how long the animation will last, and animation delay is how long the animation takes to start after the user first clicked onto the page. Secondly, we do have Steven. Steven, his description role would be selected and edited images for Adventure Book. The importance would be images are necessary to the design of our project. Since our project is a Choose Your Adventure game, we needed images that represented the different choices that could be made at each single HTML page. His role consisted of finding images that followed our plot line. He chose images that were similar to our theme of fairy tale using drawings that he could find on the internet. He also edited certain photos. For example, he edited our layout page. So the actual book, when it is open, that page he was able to edit out some negative white space. So Steven was definitely very strong on the editing. And all the images were placed in a folder. So he implemented storage for all of our images. How his role was styling the background images and chose the best background image to fit different situations. That importance is background theme is essential in this project. The users or players will have a better visual idea of what it is the situation right now. His job found all of the images and then styled them in the correct way to represent full images. And then just a few acknowledgements. We found most of all of our images sourced through Google Images. The plot inspiration was Grimm's Complete Fairy Tale, published by Barnes & Noble Inc. And I, Rachel Bowers, created the PowerPoint. I'd like to thank you for your time. I will also link in the description our storybook for anyone who watched this video to be able to experience a complete fairy tale by us. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day.